Seaside Band, isn't that great? Good morning, I'm Reverend Laurie Sheets. It's a joy to be here with you on this special day, Palm Sunday. Scurry, scurry, everyone scurry. Scurry into your seats. I'd like to introduce our light bearer today, who is practitioner Gail Manashar. Gail? A light bearer is a practitioner that is holding the consciousness and is the point of light for our service. Thank you. Today we have Conscious Creativity Circle, which is after service from 1 to 3, and it is a way that we are learning by Lynn Adams. We're learning to explore the art of repurposing and upcycling items. So this is part of a program that's brought to us by Seaside Sisters, and they'll be making cards today. There's a great board in the back if you want to check it out. Where's Lynn? Where's Lynn? Not here. She'll be here later. I just wanted her to send me a card. You know, just address it to me and send me a card. Plan to stay, have lunch with Cafe on Lake. They'll be serving a delicious lunch, so plan to spend the day here at Seaside if you'd like. Youth and Family Ministry at March 27th at 4 p.m. We are doing what? 500 of these eggs. Now, you didn't realize this, but this is also your training for the stuffing party. We're going to be taking eggs like this. We're going to be putting stuff in them, and then we're going to close them up. And we're going to be doing that 500 times together in spiritual community with people of like mind. And you'll get to know your fellow stuffers because it's really good to know who you're stuffing with. So plan to be there. It's in the Emerson room. The person that stuffs the most eggs, I will provide a Starbucks gift card. Okay, so the competition is on. As far as classes, we have our bereavement group that has started to meet. It's still available if you'd like, if you have a loss in your family, or if you know of someone else who would like some support, meeting on Thursdays at 4 p.m. How many people took foundations over 8 years ago? Where's my hander-outer? Ladies and gentlemen, these principles, no, go ahead. Everybody gets one. These principles stay the same. Our science of mind principles that you learned in foundation class. The instructors, though, have really up-leveled. I'll be teaching a daytime foundations class. And this is a renewal. You need to. How many people can list our 10 principles? If you can, then you don't have to take this. I have flyers here. Barbara Swearington is going to be passing those out. I'd love to have you join me in that class. On the 6th, we have the Seaside Gets Green and Clean. So this is from our Seaside Sisters ministry. We're cleaning up the exterior and garden. We're coupling the two ministries with the green ministry, and we are just cleaning up. So, and guess what? It's a cleanup, so what? Everyone's invited, of course. Everyone. There are no limitations. The April 7th, which is a Sunday, we have our Silver Circle launch. We're beginning to have and create activities to help celebrate Seaside's 25th anniversary. And so on the 7th, we'll have more information about that and how we can be involved and celebrate. And now, What's next week? This is the best part of my job. Marv? Hit it. It's exciting. We're going to have three different services. How many people have been to the 6 a.m.? It's fun. The doves are flying. It's great. And then the 9 o'clock service, we're going to have a service. And then we're going to have an Easter egg hunt. Okay, so wear comfortable clothes. It's an adult Easter egg hunt. And then we're going to have 11 o'clock service. How we doing?
It all begins here, March 31st, 6 a.m. for the sunrise service at Seaside. It is going to be a magical moment where the choir is singing and the moon is setting and the sun is rising and the birds are singing. We're even going to release 20 white doves to the heavens on that morning as we release whatever challenges we might be having in our world. And I'll tell you what, at 9 and 11, we'll be going into the sanctuary where Carl Anthony will be rocking the house with his fantastic music.
Well, I would like to see a simple, loving, mortal man. If you will, I'd like to think that maybe so I am. But have I become what I...
The choir is going to be singing. There's going to be processionals of practitioners and ministers, brass bands. Even our children are going to have an Easter egg hunt. And I'll tell you what, I'm also going to give you the keys to rising triumphant above any of the challenges that have you entombed or entrapped in your life. So come on out, March 31st, and I will give you the answers then.
Please stand now and greet your neighbor and remain standing.
All right, please remain standing. It's time for our congregational song this morning. We're going to get started singing by I'm Choosing Heaven Today. We got the lovely Reverend Fran over there on the piano. All right, here we go. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing grace today. I'm choosing grace today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing grace today. Choosing joy right now. All right. I'm choosing compassion today. I'm choosing compassion today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing compassion today. I'm choosing joy today.
I'm choosing joy.
I'm choosing joy today.
I'm choosing joy.
I am walking the road of heaven right now.
Singing,
I'm choosing joy today. What do we got?
I'm choosing abundance today.
I'm choosing abundance today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. Singing, I'm choosing abundance today.
I'm choosing heaven.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. Right now.
You guys are
All
sounding
right.
good this morning. Hey, good morning, Seaside. What a joy it is to be with you on this day, a day in which you are making a great choice. You get to choose heaven or, I don't know, nothing else seems to make sense after that choice. So, hey, it's a fabulous week to be here. It is a holy week. It is a week where we get to celebrate the Passover. Today is Palm Sunday, and so just open up to the wonderful power that is moving within our culture, upon our planet, and here at Seaside. For Seaside is a spiritual nexus inspiring people to live their dreams and to live their divinity. It is a welcoming place. It is a spiritual home where arms are open to greet you or those wherever one may be on their spirit.
Feeling Spirit move and flow through each and every one here. I invite you to open your heart and lift up your soul, moving into the stillness as one with Spirit. I am one with God. Each and every one here today, we are united by divine appointment with God and the divine wisdom and the divine flow of Spirit as Dr. Reverend Christian flows with ease and grace into our hearts and uplifts our souls to a higher level of consciousness. I know that there are new insights, new expressions of Spirit to unfold here today. I know that there is good and more good to be revealed with the upliftment of our musical guest and all that it takes to have this service flow with ease and grace. I can feel the embodiment of Spirit in this moment, bringing each and every one of us together as one, and so it is.
God is real. God is magnificent. God is truth. God is love. God is real. God is magnificent. God is truth and God is love. I am real. I am magnificent. I am truth and I am love. We are real, we are magnificent. We are truth, we are love. We are magnificent. We are truth. We are love. We are real. We are magnificent. We are truth. And we are love.
How beautiful. Thank you, friend. And thank you, Practitioner Nancy, for praying us into this moment. Still, Reverend Lori, still glad to be here. Still appreciating each and every one of you. If you have any idea of what it takes to put on a service in the way of people who serve and people who step up and help, I want to thank those people this morning. We come here each week. We are called to be together in spiritual fellowship. If you are here for the first time, please know that there is a welcome packet back at the Welcome Center, which is a very good place for the welcome packet to be, at the Welcome Center. That was my idea. Wasn't that my idea? Please pick one up. It has information that has information on our teaching and who we are, as well as Seaside and what we do here. So there is a voucher for one of Christian's book, Dr. Christian's book. So there'll be someone in the back there to greet you. We're glad that you're here. So I thought this out in my mind, how I might do this one-handed. Because I'd like to share today, as we have been each Sunday, the Joyous Living Journal, a passage from that. So please sit back and get comfortable, and I'll be reading this, and then I'll take us out into prayer. So the topic is chaos equals crisis and opportunity. And this is Dr. Petra, who is the writing partner of Christian, and you'll be able to tell that. My son was born in a log cabin in the mountains, and I had planned to raise him there, close to nature. Then, as a single parent, I discovered that I could not support myself living 30 miles from a town of 600 people. I sold my beloved cabin and moved to the south with my parents, where my son was raised. And for years, I railed against God and was angry about what had happened. Yet when I looked back now, I see how beautifully my life has unfolded since then. My son's relationship to his grandparents, was made possible by living near them, and I found extraordinarily meaningful work. Every crisis has an opportunity in disguise. Begin by accepting what is. Trust that the good will come out of every crisis, and that you are strong enough to meet the challenge. And so we take these words within and simply know that our God and my God are a beautiful, loving, strong, powerful, passionate, compassionate God. And I know that this God is all there is. That the God that I know permeates absolutely every cell in my body. It beats my heart. It breathes my breath. God. I know I am one with this presence. One with the knowledge and the wisdom. one with absolutely everything that I need to create my dreams. And so I know that I am grounded in faith. I am grounded that I will be shown my path, that I will have the courage to step forward one step at a time. For I trust this beloved God. I know this beloved God is one of good and one of miracles. And for that, I am so grateful. I release these words with joy in my heart and a smile on my face. And so it is.
Well, I guess I will introduce Brenda from over here this morning. Miss Brenda Lee Ager is with us this morning. She has a fabulous career, a history of a career that most people would just sigh for. And I have to tell you that if you do a little bit of investigation now on internet and go on YouTube, you will see Brenda, and she hasn't changed a bit in over a million years. And that secret I want from her too. But you know the one that she sang with Jerry Butler, the Iceman. Right, Brenda?
Just like me, they long to be close to you.
That's Brenda right there. Give her a big hand, and she's with us this morning from Los Angeles. Second service drove down this morning at 4 o'clock, and she's going to rock the house right now.
Thank you, Reverend Fran.
Oh, wait, and your CD's for sale. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yes, I do have some.
Okay.
How y'all doing this morning? Good. On a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star. You feel part of every mountain, sea, and shore. You can hear from far and near a word you've never heard before. And on that clear day, on that clear day, you can see forever. You can see forever. You can see forever and ever. On a clear day, rise and look around you. really are. On a clear day, how it will astound you. There's a glow on your being outshines every star you feel part of. Every mountain, sea, and shore, you can hear from far and near a world you've never heard before. On a clear day, on a clear day, you can see forever. The more day. Woo. Feel like getting loose. That's Toya. Brother laying on the piano. Well, how do you do? Yeah. The bass on the bass. You will feel forever. You can see forevermore. You can see, you can see, you can see forevermore. You can see forever,
And that is Brenda Lee Yeager. Woo! What a song. How beautiful. Oh my. I can see forever on a clear day. That's what we're working on, is clearing up consciousness so we can see forever and ever. That's for sure. So let's see, this morning's message is chaos equals crisis and opportunity. My beloved co-writer, Reverend Petra, came up with that, and I'm not quite sure how it ended up on Palm Sunday, but I'll figure it out. We'll work it in, because what I do understand is that that the chaos is it's crisis that's going on, and within that crisis are the opportunities that are within our life. And when we see the chaos, and when we see the confusion, or we can see the challenge, I don't care what you call it, when things aren't working in our life, and we're going, oh no, our higher self is going, oh yeah, here we go. Something's breaking open here, and there is going to be a way through. If you can see on this clear day, you can see forever and ever. You can see as Spirit sees, and the adversity is just in disguise for the greater opportunity to express itself in our life. And our history is filled with that. Here we are on Palm Sunday. Supposedly the story goes, Jesus makes this triumphant entry into Jerusalem, and everybody was excited. Or the other side of the story is this was the Savior of the season, and this has just got the traditional, yeah, here they come. But either way, it started off good, and people are going, yes, and then it went really south. It didn't go so good. He had a very rough week, as you probably read that I wrote about. It's not like my ideal week. And ended up with crucifixion, which I would say is bad. Yeah. But actually, it became the opportunity that created the whole Easter experience. And so let's not get caught up in the judgment and begin to see on this clear day, as God sees, the opportunities that are expressing itself. I mean, God saw it when he tapped Moses. Here it is, Passover, week for Passover. And God says to Moses, you're the one to go tell the Pharaoh to let the people go. And he says, I can't even talk. He says, well, go. And so he goes. Now imagine going to the Pharaoh, which is like going to the president and saying, hey, let my people go. And he says, are you kidding me? And so then come the plagues. You had the frogs, the locusts, the insects, the sick cattle, the darkness, the bloody Nile. And finally, on the 10th plague, Moses said, hey, to the folks, put the blood of the spring lamb over the door so the Spirit will pass over you. And as the 10th plague came, it took the first male, which included the Pharaoh's son. And what's interesting about that is, if you remember, it all started with the Pharaoh who put out the decree to kill the baby boys. Cause and effect, from the metaphysical perspective, comes back. And so here we are talking about this day. Out of the chaos and the confusion, there is an opportunity for Spirit to show up, but we have got to be willing to know that this is an opportunity for God to have its way, and not for me to hold on to what isn't working. And sometimes a kick in the rear can be the step forward that we needed in our life. Sometimes it is up to us to realize that what is happening here is God ordained, particularly if you've been doing your meditation, particularly if you've been doing your prayer, particularly if you've been connecting with the Spirit and things are not moving like I thought they should. What I must continue to know is that it is an answer to my prayer. It just may not be the way I thought it was supposed to unfold to get me to where it is I want to go, but let me realize that the questioning mind and the critic in my mind, the doubting in my mind is not my source. That's good. I like that one. Write that one down. The critic in my mind is not my source. My source is Spirit, and it can see through the confusion and the chaos and the challenges that are going on. And sometimes I have got to be willing to take hold and believe and say, woe is me. I got to get over that one. This thing is sacrifice. Now, You know, you may have gone on vacation down to Yucatan to the Mayan ruins, quite spectacular. If you haven't, I recommend it. Not that I'm a travel agent, but or got a or even a tour I'm going to take you on. But go down to Chichen Itza and you see the magnificent Sun Pyramid. It is just spectacular. I think they probably still let you walk it. And there you get to see Chocmol, the guy in which the high priest used to sacrifice. So the sun would rise the next day. You know, you sacrifice and the sun would rise the next day. You didn't do the you didn't, sacrifice blood, no sun. I think they would have tried it to see maybe if they didn't, the sun would still rise, but I guess they didn't risk it. But anyways, this concept of sacrifice we think is long gone. But let me tell you, I don't think it is. Because I watch people sacrificing their life all the time. It's not a quick move by some shaman, but rather it is how we acquiesce our being to do life. No pain, no gain. So I will sacrifice the pain. I will sacrifice my joy so I can make a living. I will sacrifice this so I can get that. I'm willing to give up. And all of a sudden there's this thought that I've got to be willing to give up something to get something. And we live with this sense of sacrifice and keep ourselves moving in this direction through whatever means, whether it is guilt or shame or struggle or whatever it is. And guilt is one of those major shape-shifting things in consciousness. And what I want us to get is that we no longer need to sacrifice and recognize that it is the fools or the unwise that begin to think their happiness is somewhere in the future. It is the wise that recognize that the happiness is growing beneath their feet right now. Right where I stand is the happiness of my expression, and I need not pray that someday in the future. I mean, some philosophies will teach when you die, you finally get heaven, or you finally get happiness. Boy, that's a long wait, you know. I'm telling you, it's growing beneath your feet right now. Right now, that's right. And you just know that the nourishment that is necessary is there. Just as I'm walking through my garden and seeing my trees blossoming, you hearing me talking about it because I get excited. You know, they don't know what nourishment came in the ground. All the rain that came, all the wind that blew and gave them the strength, the mulch, their leaves, the hail, everything gave the nourishment to the roots, which gave the nourishment to the trunk, which gave the nourishment to the branches, which gave it to the buds and the blossoms, and now there's fruit coming. That fruit and those branches don't have a clue all the different elements that went in to nourish those roots. What I want us to understand is we don't get all that has transpired to give us the nourishment and the strength that has gone before us to draw upon. Whether it is the people that went before us, whether it's the ancestors, there is the nourishment for our abundance, for our relationships, for our consciousness, for our strength, for our self-confidence, for our ability to accept our good and our happiness. Now, it is the nourishment. I don't know what it is, but what I know is that it is there, and it is up to us to be able to take the time to feel it, to sense it, to honor that in our life, to take the time and connect with it. But what happens with people is that what comes to mind when we pause, is those images of chaos. And if it wasn't the images of chaos, it's the challenges, or it's the stories, or it's the history. And we try to move through that. We move through that with other images in which we have learned. You know, from an early age, from a little baby size, we were given a rattle to occupy our mind, and then we were given, dolls, and then we were given baby Mozart to watch on DVD, and and then we were given the TV shows and the radios and the CDs and the computers and the smartphones, and our minds are constantly bombarded. And so when we stop to pause, what comes into the subjective field is what has been crammed in there since the little age from our first rattle. You know, in those old days when our indigenous ancestors were sent out on their vision quest, there wasn't as much stuffed into the subjective, and it was easier to have the natural upwelling and wellspring of spirit to reveal into that field that is not so full with other stuff. Which is why oftentimes people have to be taken to their knees with shock before they open up to a new picture and a new possibility, to move beyond all the subjective pictures that have been given to us. And so out of the chaos and out of the confusion, there can come that opening and that opportunity that we didn't know existed. But we've got to be open to that. And what I have found is, with classes and listening to people talk, that they have gotten so dialed into the sacrifice of who they are so they can make the living. So they can continue to move forward in a manner in life that will support them. They sell their spirit, they sell their soul, they sacrifice their time and their energy to the point where on a beautiful spring afternoon on a Tuesday, they decide they can't go walk their dog because they are tied into doing something else. You know, they walk in their dog and all of a sudden they feel as if they're out there walking in a prison striped suit, that they're going to get caught, and then they got to rush back to their desk before their boss yells at them in tongues or something. I had a chiropractor once that shared with me once that I learned a lot. He said that, because he was planning a 4-week vacation in Italy. And he said, I realized it's quite strange to be a full-grown adult and think that you have to ask someone for time off. Yeah. I share that because it resonated with my soul. And I realized that people will give their power away and think they have to ask someone like a child for time off in their life to go connect. Dan Morgan, a wonderful religious science minister, Dr. Dan, lovingly said, he said, people will shave a part of themselves away to please other people until they have whittled themselves away. Let's not whittle ourselves away. It takes a very strong soul, and this is what we come together for here in community, to remind us, but it takes a very strong person who's willing to pierce that veil and be able to recognize, be able to function in this world and not sell themselves out, to realize that they still have the power in their life to take the risk, to be their own individual that makes the choices for their life and not sell themselves out. And that a lot of times the chaos and the confusion inside of ourselves is to open ourselves to, you know what, it's time to be self-employed, allow God to be my boss, to step forward in a way. But yet, rather than looking at that which is shaking my soul, I close it down. I zip up the pierce of the veil and say, whoa, I can't go there. And I watch people's spirit leave little by little and inch by inch before the body ever breaks down to reflect what is going on with the heart and soul that is already left. This story about the triumphant entry reminds us that, you know what, we think we got it going on, but the truth is maybe this is not what it looks like on the surface. That you may have to die before you can rise triumphant. The celebration is yes. And you know what? There is even more here. There's even more. What is more seeking to express itself in your life and in your world? I'll tell you, the practitioners that will help you. Spiritual practitioners are the ones who absolutely know the truth of your being is not something that has to be earned, and it's not something that needs to be sacrificed for. You are an expression of God here and now, that you live and move and have your being. And this is why on the fourth Sunday of every month, like today, they will stand up here and they will do prayers with you. And you come and you share with a situation in your life that is creating some question or havoc in your world, and they will not try to heal that situation. What they will do is have this discernment, this spiritual discernment that is able to see on a clear day the truth of your being, which is perfect and whole now, and call forth that expression that is spirit seeking to express itself in your life. Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of religious science, he says that when one comes to know God and law, a burden is lifted. And any opposition is removed through the perception of unity. That's the whole Christ story thing, is about the unity. It is about the oneness. He who sees me sees the one that sent me. I and the Father are one. I have to step away from the perceptions that have been put into my mind since I arrived here and recognize that there's more. This week I watched on TV The Matrix, the movie. And I don't necessarily recommend it because it's way too violent, for my taste. But it is filled with the metaphysical perception about perception. We experience what it is we perceive, and it doesn't matter what is going on. You get dropped into this matrix, and you begin to see what is programmed in there, and you have to consciously choose to step away and outside of that. And that is what we are working on doing as we come to community to celebrate together, to be reminded together, is that once I am able to step free from this atomistic dream, from this human law, from the man-made laws of this world, and recognize that there is a spiritual law, there is a God principle that is far greater than anything that this world can throw at me, I will be free to live my life as I choose, knowing that God is what is directing me, and I can say yes to what is stirring in my heart and soul. Yeah. It may take some work. I got to tell you, that's what we're doing here. So we don't want to beat ourselves up and use that guilt, as I was talking about, how the shape-shifting into yuck, but rather realize it takes some work. If you were to take these piano lessons with Reverend Fran, fabulous piano teacher, extraordinary. You sit down with a half hour with her on your first piano lesson, and you walk away, and you know what? Maybe you just don't play like her quite yet. Yeah. Oh, no, but yeah, that there is that something inside of you that wants to play. So you go back again and again. Maybe a dozen lessons later, you're still not playing in that extraordinary way. 50 lessons later, once a week. But it takes time, but you stick to it. I remind myself because, as you know, I've been working on the Spanish language for years. And I haven't quite dialed it in yet. I'm just working. One of these days we'll be able to converse. But, what I want us to get is that our spiritual path's the same way. One good session of meditation and prayer, it doesn't do it. Or a week's worth. Or a year. We want to continue to work to come to know that presence so much that no matter what this world throws at us with confusion and chaos, I can keep my eyes open and have it be a clear day and see as Spirit sees. I want to be able to go through the time of death of this physical body and keep my eyes fully open and experience the richness of that experience, because I don't even consider that physical death as a bad thing, but an opportunity for my soul to experience something even greater than what it is I know heretofore. And that is what I get to do in this lifetime through my meditation connection, is come to know that essence of life that is beyond the physical form and not get stuck in thinking this is what it's got to be. Catch that vision. See as Spirit sees. Know as God knows what is going on in my world and in my life, and begin to hold on to that vision and be that which I've come here to be. Even Oprah didn't dream about being on the Oprah Winfrey show. She dreamed of being Oprah. It's not about dreaming to do something that is somebody else's thing. It is about bringing forth that which you are. And that is the value of being around individuals who see that light in you, who encourage you. We know how valuable it is to encourage our kids to step up. But it's just as important for mom and dad to receive the encouragement. I hear so many people say, I don't need encouragement. I don't need to be thanked. You know what? The mom and dads need the encouragement because that child is still inside. Keep going. Good job. You're on the right path. That nourishment, let it come through you. It's there for you. Story of Wilma Rudolph. 3-time Olympic gold medalist in the 1960 Rome Olympics. Age of 4, she contracted the polio virus. Was in a brace with twisted, contorted left leg. Doctor said that she would never walk again. Her mom said she would. And what she said is, I chose to believe my mom. The encouragement for who you are and what it is you have to share is there if you want to see. Those are the ones that are appreciating what it is you're doing. And just like the Pharaoh, it comes back to you. So if you're putting out the good juju, the good's coming back. Story I'm sure I've shared because it's touched my heart of Zippy. She, along with her young parents, were going on a 2-week vacation to the mountains. They're on a mountainous road when a truck came barreling down the wrong side of the road and plowed ahead into their car. All three of them, the parents and the 4-year-old Zippy, was taken to the nearest hospital, to which the child was put in the children's ward. Mom and Dad were rushed into ICU. You can imagine the pain Zippy was in, having all these bones broken in her body, but was even as excruciating was the fear of not having Mom and Dad around to encourage her and say, hey, this is a challenge, but you're going to come through this. But there was a nurse who saw the fear of this young girl by the name of Martha, an older nurse, and she decided to take her under her care and her wing. She stayed with Zippy, and when she got off from her duty, she decided to spend the night with Zippy. She would bring Zippy cookies. She would read picture books with her. She would sing her songs. She would tell her everything was going to be all right. And when Zippy could finally move, she put her in a wheelchair and every day would wheel her to her mom and dad. And after several months, they were released from the hospital, and the parents just expressed their gratitude, their heart. They said, let's stay in contact. Zippy said, I want you to come home. Zippy begged Martha to come home and live with them. And Martha said, I would love to, but really my duty is on this children's ward. And so they stayed in contact by phone since they lived a distance, but after a short time, the parents moved abroad. And so their contact just was done. 30 years later, the nurse Martha, she was now 70, was taken ill, critically sick with pneumonia. They just had difficulties, was taken into the geriatric ward of a hospital near her home. And as she was lying there, he talked about reciprocity. There was this one nurse that saw that this older lady had very few visitors, was alone most of the time, and this nurse decided to sit up with her and stay with her and encourage her. And one night when they're just sitting, the nurse shared her story as to how she got into nursing. And she said, well, it started when I was 4 years old in a terrible auto accident. There was this one nurse who decided to stay up with me at night. And ever since then, when we moved away, I vowed that I wanted to help people just like that nurse assisted me. And when I graduated from nursing school, I met a boy. He was American. We moved back to the States, and just a few months ago, he got a great job here in town, and I was blessed to have this hospital job. And tears rolling down Martha's face said, Zippy, is that you? Yeah. How does that work? I don't know. But what I do know is Zippy no longer begged Martha to come home with her. She just brought her, carried her out of the hospital and all her stuff and took her home. And to this day, she still lives with her children and her husband as if she was their grandparents. Yeah. What I want us to recognize that even in the midst of chaos and challenges, there are opportunities in our souls rolling up its sleeve and saying, hot dog, here we go. Doctors may say one thing, but let me tell you, the Spirit of God in you is telling you the spiritual truth. What do you want to believe? The pictures that have been downloaded into your subjective mind? Or do you want to be able to pierce that veil and open up to a greater possibility of a mind that has not been saturated with the images of this world, but begin to perceive as God sees? And the way you do that is you take the challenges and you put them in a pocket with holes. And you begin to reflect upon not your hard times and your difficulties. Yes, you want to learn from that, but you begin to allow your focus and your vision to be on your dreams, on what stirs your soul and what turns you on, and ask yourself why you're not doing that now. Because I don't care. You have the wherewithal. If Moses, who stuttered, could tell the Pharaoh to let his people go, and he did. If Mom told Wilma she could run when the doctor said no, and she did. If somehow after 30 years apart, miraculously, two individuals reunite, there is something that can happen in this world that you are part of. You are part of that. And when you are feeling that nourishment that's coming from your roots, you can begin to blossom. Because if you don't, you'll be like the branch or the limb that has been cut off. It will wither and die. But when you know and you see and you meditate and you pray, you will come to know know that which is beyond the standard. You will come to know that you've been given the freedom, that you do not need to ask permission to have your freedom or your vacation or your time off, but rather you've been given all the time and all the freedom your soul could ever have or want to bring forth that for which you've come here to do. God bless you as you rise triumphant in this experience. Thank you. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Brenda Lee back to our stage.
Boy, he does it every time. You know, I'm from the South, and it's so hard to just sit and not say something. You know, say, oh, I said, okay, I'm going to sit. I'm not going to say nothing. But it just kind of comes out, you know, because it comes from way down here, and it is up and out. I wrote this song some years ago when I was sick in the hospital, and I was trying to do all the things to get well, and then Spirit just said, you know, you don't have to do it. There's something in you that already knows how to heal you. So I wrote, Let God Be God. Let God be God. We're not big enough to do His job. Let God be God. We don't have to work that hard. He will do what needs to be done. Trust in Him, He'll make your race easy to run. When you pray, stand aside and know without a doubt He will provide if you just let go and let God be God. There are times when we find we've been praying on our knees all day and night, asking for things we need. But when you pray, let me ask you, do you really believe? Because when you trust, pray, watch and wait, He's got good pleasure. He'll do what He say. Take your burdens to the Lord. Leave them there. Don't go back and get them. It's in His care. If you just let go and let God be God. All you got to do is let God be God. We're not big enough to do His job. Let God be God. We don't have to work that hard. He will do what needs to be done. Trust in Him, you'll make your race easy to run. When you pray, stand aside and know without a doubt God will provide if you just let go and let God be God. little bit more, man. On the side. God is so able, so capable, never let you down. You can trust Him. Put your confidence in His imminence. He hears you when you pray. So get out of the way. God never changes. He remains the same. Yesterday, today, and always. Let God be God. You don't have to work so hard. Ooh, just let God be God. Ooh. I wonder if you say that with me. Just let God be God. Ooh, all right, you're sounding good. Oh, just let God be God. Ooh, you don't have to worry all that time. I know it'll be a bridge over troubled water when you need it, yeah. Oh, just let God, every victory, God will be there in the middle for you, yeah. Every doctor's diagnosis don't mean it's real for you. Just let God, let Him in, 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 let Him in. Ooh, let God be God. Put your confidence in His imminence. Let God be God. God bless you. That song is on that CD back there. Thank you so much.
Brenda Lee Eager. Woo! Letting God be God with their gifts. Oh my, we are blessed for sure. Hey, this is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to unite together in our givingness. We get to share our financial support, knowing that your gift makes a significant difference in this community's ability to continue serving. As you support God in your world, as Seaside, what you will find is that the Seaside expression continues to be here for people to come during these joyous seasons, these holy weeks, and these times of pain, times of joy, giving our kids the wonderful blessings to step out in the world with a sense of confidence, to be able to walk through the door and feel the presence of God, to be able to walk out here and don't know why I feel better, but I do. Realizing that Seaside in one's life just seems to be better because it is a conscious connection with Spirit that allows that opening to continue to be open. And so as you continue to support Spirit in your life, you'll find Spirit continuing to support its expression as your life. So as you give, it comes back. It's not why you give, it's just how it works. You cannot outgive Spirit. So as you give, what you'll find is coming back into your world is the level in which you've chosen to play. Multiply. And so at this time, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward as we take our gift from our heart and our soul. And I want to say thank you to this crew. And thank you to those who mail in your contribution when you can't be here on a Sunday. And thank you to those that remember us with the auto tithe, that regular systematic support from your world into Seaside, because we have that regular responsibility to continue to keep this place going. And so It's with joy. I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that this is a blessed moment where there is a clear recognition of the level in which we have chosen to play in this life. For truly the blessings of God are infinite. We're dealing with an infinite reservoir. We live and move and have our life within the abundant field of spirit, and it expresses in our life at the level of our activity. And so in this moment, choosing to be that place to which God gives, what we find is the givingness of God continuing to expand its expression as our experience. So knowing that our lives have been blessed, we send forth this blessing, knowing it continues to bless those with whom it comes in contact. I just say thank you with a sense of appreciation for the realization of the good and the grace that is ever available in this moment. And so it is. Amen. And together let us say our affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Hey, those are the guys from Seaside. That is Troy on the horns, Pat on the drums, Tom on the bass. That is Lynn Willard on the Busendorfer. Great job, guys. And Brenda Lee, you're fabulous. Oh, my goodness. Just love it when you're here. You're just great. Oh, man. Thank you. And Reverend Fran, bless you for your support. We're excited about next week. It'll be great. And Reverend Lori, always a joy to share Sunday mornings with you for sure. Guys in the back giving us sound and giving us the visuals. Marv, Tim behind the cameras. Appreciate that. And appreciate this. Wonderful, wonderful board member Joanne Wolf. I just stand in your presence as you represent the abundance, the collective abundance of this ever-growing spiritual community that is thriving and making a difference for humanity. For truly, Seaside is a vortex in which the abundant flow of life moves to bring forth the ministries of heart and soul, knowing that we're making a difference in this world, and because we're making the difference in our individual lives. Grateful to know that this representation of the abundant flow is taken in with good stewardship and sent forth back into the world, knowing that it blesses so many right places, and so it moves with the wonderful streams of God, forever expanding, and so it is. Amen. All right. So, thank you. Flowers, gorgeous today. Oh my goodness. Janet and Deborah Sadler, they were at the first service, but they gave in memory of their mom Louise and sister Judith, who made their transition. So they're gorgeous. Thank you. Also, a special thank you to Lori. I want you to know Lori is stepping into the wonderful duties of heading up our youth and family ministry, which means we're not going to be hearing her on Sunday mornings anymore, which it's like because Debbie is stepping into more of her activities as a senior in the School of Ministry, and following that, which left that position open, and Lori brings her wonderful consciousness to our youth, which I'm very excited about. But when she said that she wanted to do that and step aside from the announcing, I told her, no, you can't do that. From a selfish perspective, but then I realized we still get to hang out together, and how blessed to take such a high high expression life for our youth and family ministry. So very excited about starting next week. She's going to join it all up on the hill. So I'm excited with what's going on. Melissa is going to continue, as well as everyone who has said, yes, count me in for helping. And next week's a big week. We need all the support because next Sunday is Easter. It is traditionally our biggest Sunday of the year. There will be 1,000 people here between the three services. There'll be over 100 at the 6 a.m., which I know you'll want to be part of, with the choir singing and the doves. And then the second service, there'll be at least 350 people here. And then the 11 o'clock service, this service will be backed out that door. So it's going to be an exciting. Oh, yeah, wear Easter bonnets. I'll even see if I can find my bowler cap. And yeah, you've already got your egg color going. So, but we got the choir. We got Carl Anthony. You know what? I even gave you a couple invitations. So take this out from your Sunday program, and anybody you love, give them this, because there is going to be a message about them. The message is called You, and I will show you how you can rise triumphant in your life. And so give this invitation to a neighbor, to someone you care about, someone you would like to see join us here on Easter morning. So, and the video that you saw, send it out daily on my daily message. Send it to somebody, like it on Facebook. You get it on the Evite, so pass it along. Let us have this be a place that is just alive and rocking, and there's plenty of parking in the parking lot, so take advantage of that. But there'll be egg hunting after the 9 and 11 o'clock service, so that will be fun. I'm going to have a fun time. I got some good hiding places, so I'm passing that on. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking here because there's an exciting creative project our women's ministry is offering. Lynn Adams is a fabulous, well-esteemed artist, and she's going to show us how to take the recyclables and turn them into terrific greeting cards. So stop, have some lunch, plan to be part of that. And what I want to do is pray, and I want to invite any of our religious science practitioners that are here today to stand, because on the fourth Sunday of the month, we create this prayer wall, and these individuals are available to you for a personal prayer. You come up and you share what is going on, and as I said, they have this spiritual discernment, and this is what they spent years learning and being licensed to do, is they are able to see clearly that presence of God in which you live and move and have your being in. So they're available to you. When I'm done talking and we're done singing, come get it. But what I want to do right now is just pray, which this whole service has been about. It's just praying, connecting, singing, and rejoicing in that divine life source, that light. For truly it is a holy week. It is a blessed moment where the fullness of God is. And anyone who says, count me in with God, with Spirit, that's our meditation, our prayers, our speak. Spirit just passes over with its disasters. With the challenges in life, they just pass you by because you said, count me in, I am with God. I am that which is. And that is Spirit expressing. Individualizes our very life. I come to feel it, I sense it, I speak from this place knowing that I am God expressing. Knowing the truth of this moment, it is one of joy and happiness. What grows beneath me is the joy and the happiness of life. And I feel the nourishment as I walk in this true garden of Eden that grows. And in this state of happiness and joy, I'm able to recognize those points of discontent that are less than, that are human. And I move beyond that atomistic trance and let go of being governed by the laws of man and open up to the spiritual laws and the spiritual truth of that which I am, which is God made manifest. I walk through this world with a confidence, with a freedom, no longer asking permission of the images that are professed to be the truth of this world, and I listen to the divine guidance. I listen to the presence of God that speaks wholeness when the doctor says you'll never walk again. I listen to the presence of God that dissolves time and brings relationships back together after 30 years in a place of love. I listen to that voice, to that guidance, to that power that can transform, that can heal. And I know every prayer in our prayer request chest is now answered, unfolding in the right and perfect way within the individuals' lives that requested the assistance. Invite any of us to lift into this divine space anything that we may be working on without judgment, but a true recognition that this is where there is a snag, and recognize that the flow of God moves here perfectly. We hold in this loving space a beloved friend, Linda Eineke, whose mom Frances made her transition this week, who sat in our front row for years. We know that she moves on in the front row before us, blazing the heavens with the bright light that made her eyes twinkle. For that feisty expression of life she continues to be. For this body form is just one expression of an eternality, of the continuity of life itself. So grateful to have a growing, thriving, expanding spiritual community known as Seaside that is part of a greater expression, which is Centers for Spiritual Living, which is part of a greater expression of the New Thought Movement, which is the greater expression of the conscious creators, the cultural creatives, that is part of an emerging truth that is ageless, timeless, which is God itself. I know right now that I can let go with a gratitude and assurance, for the divine has its way, that any chaos leads to divine opportunities, and my soul always knows, and I remember to turn to that, and this I am appreciative. I'm thankful the words I've expressed are the truth, and I let go, and I trust, and I believe in the divine that moves them into fruition. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know that the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand.
Oh, but now I can say, if you are discouraged and trying to make it through just one more day, you got to let it go. You got to let it go. Let it all go. Hey, this is what we have to say. Come on.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life and my heart. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. I'm only here for. Yes, I'm only here. I'm only here. Well, I'm only here. I'm only here for. I'm only here for God. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Amen. Yes. Amen.
Woo! Oh boy, wild ladies for sure. Hey, our affirmation is, I face all of life with the Spirit expressing as me. Together, I face all of life with Spirit expressing as me. Again, I face all of life with Spirit expressing as me. One more time. I face all of life with Spirit expressing as me. In our song of grace.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me. Well, it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We are all truths as together we walk. God's grace moves through me. Well, it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in Amen, amen. Hallelujah.
Come on up for prayer. We're here for you.